race number 1, set to go green. 8 laps, top 4 to the A, top 2 redraw, starting spots 1 through 10 for tonight's 30 lap. A main event. Looking out of turn 4, the green is out for heat race number 1. Craig Mintz grabs the lead down the backstretch. Cody Brewer in second. Caleb Henry falls back to third. Parker Price Miller in that 4 spot. Here comes Henry inside of the 5 of Cody Brewer. He'll take the second spot. He'll bring along Parker Price Miller and Ricky Peterson. Peterson now into the top 4. Nate Dussel knocking on the door to the rear bumper of Cody Brewer. Out front is all Craig Mintz. Caleb Henry in second. Parker Price Miller in third. Ricky Peterson fourth. Nate Dussel now fifth. 6, Cody Brewer. 7th, Travis Philo. Battle for the 8th spot. They touch wheels in turn 4. The 3 of DJ Foose. And the 10 BR of Jason Blond with Tyler Capodice on the tail. There's the cross flags. 4 laps in, 4 to go. Craig Mintz in command of heat race number 1. Caleb Henry comfortably in second. Parker Price Miller in third. The battle is for the final transfer spot. The 98 of Ricky Peterson has it. The 1 of Nate Dussel wants it. He's running out of lap zone. Mintz out of turn 4. Across the stripe 2 to remain in heat race number 1. Mintz already down the backstretch through turns 3 and 4. He'll see the doctor's jacket in the air, signifying one more time around Attica Raceway Park. Craig Mintz has caught the back of the pack. Puts Tyler Capodice a lap down. Through turns 3 and 4, taking the Crown Battery heat race win. Going to be Craig Mintz. Caleb Henry will finish second. Parker Price Miller third. Final transfer to the A, Ricky Peterson. To the B, Nate Dussel, Travis Philo, DJ Foose, Cody Brewer, Jason Blond, and Tyler Capodice. You can get those advanced reserve tickets by going to AtticaRacewayPark.com, clicking on the World Outlaw banner on the main page. Here we go. Heat race number 2, set to go green. Sandusky Bay Remodeling heat race number 2 underway. Brandon Spithaler grabs the lead. Jordan Ryan in that second spot. Bryce Lucius in third. Cap Henry the 4th and final transfer spot. Head of steam. Gets cut off by Lucius. Dives underneath him. Slider in 3 and 4. Cap Henry, Bryce Lucius duking it out for that 3rd spot. Out front though, it's all Brandon Spithaler. Jordan Ryan in second. Now Cap Henry takes that 3rd position. Bryce Lucius in 4th. 5th to Trey Jacobs. 6th to DJ Christie. Mike Keegan and John Jerich round out the field. Brandon Spithaler has that inboard brake on the rear axle, glowing red. Sparks coming off of it as he races to the white flag. Jordan Ryan comfortably in second. Cap Henry in third. Final transfer spot to Bryce Lucius. Out of turn 4, taking the Sandusky Bay Remodeling heat race win. Brandon Spithaler second. Jordan Ryan third. Cap Henry moving to the A. Bryce Lucius to the B. The 3J of Trey Jacobs. The 5 of DJ Christie. The X of Mike Keegan in the 3. Auto Group pace struck to the infield. 8 laps for heat race number 3. Top 4 to the A. And Lamberson, Henry Melkin, going to bring him down to the green flag. Out of turn 4, Brandon Bliss waves it. We race them down the front stretch into turns 1 and 2. Heat race number 3. Henry Melkin to grab the lead out of turn number 2. Lamberson back to second. Heat race number 3. Big flying job for Cale Thomas on TJ Michael. for that third spot. Zeth Sabo storming to the front into number 29. He started 7th in this one. He is up to the 5th spot. Races now for second. Brad Lambertson and Cale Thomas. Henry Melkett sees the cross flag signifying halfway home. Heat race number 3. And the battle for that second spot heats up. Here comes Cale Thomas to the inside of Brad Lambertson. They go wheel to wheel, side to side into 3 and 4. Slide job up top. Cale Thomas takes the second spot. Lambertson in third. PJ Michael that fourth and final transfer position. Zeth Sable, Green Kemanaugh, Aiden Price, Zane DeVault, and Brandon Moore round out the field. Cale Thomas cutting into that lead. He just turned the fastest lap of this race at a 12:8:29. White flag in the air. But it's going to be too little too late. As Henry Melkett enters turns 3 and 4 for the final time. He will take the third heat race win. Cale Thomas second. Brad Anderson third. TJ Michael to the A to the B. Zeth Sable, Creed Kemanaugh, Aiden Price, Zane DeVault, and Brandon Moore. Fourth and final heat race, set to go green out of turn 4. Stuart Brubaker leads the momentum into turns 1 and 2. Keith Shepard into the second spot. Darren Ida up to third. Chris Andrews shuffled back to fourth. Brubaker out front of this one. Keith Shepard in the Brian Grove Racing. New ride for him as HAC All-Star Circuit of Champions Tour this year. Darren Nida in the Ed Neumeister 11N. New ride for him in 2026. Chris Andrews holds on to that fourth and final transfer spot. Van Gurley Jr. in fifth. Dan McCarron, Larry Kingsey Jr., Jerry Dobbs, and Gage Eachin round out the field. There's the cross flags halfway home. Fremont Fence heat race number 4. Smoke out of the 11 of Darren Nida. Stuart Brubaker will see the white flag in the air one more time around. The former track champion. Keith Shepard in that second spot. Darren Knight and Chris Andrews in the top 4 since the drop of the green. Through turns 3 and 4, he'll take the Fremont Fence heat race win. Stuart Brubaker second. Gonna go to Keith Shepard. Darren Knight in third. Chris Andrews fourth to the B. Van Gurley Jr., Dan McCarron, Larry Kingsey Jr., Jerry Doms, and Gage Eachin. Brendan Torok getting the warning for lagging back and then taking off. Now the 4M getting the warning. Green out for heat race number 1. Blaine Keckler grabs the lead. Brendan Torok in second. Steve Rando off the racetrack. Loses a couple spots. Brings it back on transfer position. Blaine Keckler flying out front, pulling away for Brendan Turok. Daniel Hoffman in third. Steve Randall in fourth. Battle for fifth. From the tail, here comes Paul Weaver in the 24. Lee Summers in sixth. Tony Alvarez. Tim Freeman round out the field. Blaine Keckler's lead almost 2 seconds down the backstretch. Battle shaping up for third. Steve Randall to the cushion. Daniel Hoffman down to the bottom of the racetrack. Here comes Randall taking a peek to the inside of Hoffman in the 3 and 4. Hoffman slams the door. That allows the 24 of Paul Weaver to close. Blaine Keckler's lead, 2.2 seconds to the white flag. Brendan Turok in second, Daniel Hoffman third, Steve Randall fourth. Through turns 3 and 4, taking the Crown Battery Heat Raceway, going to be Blaine Keckler. Finishing second and eligible for the redraw, the 2 of Brendan Turok. Third goes to Daniel Hoffman. Fourth to Steve Randall, to the Bees. And Paul Weaver, Lee Summers, Tony Alvarez, Tim Freeman. Green flag out for heat race number 2. John Ivy grabs the lead down the backstretch. Braden Harrison in second. Here comes the 5 junior, Jimmy McGrath Jr. on the high side. Challenging Harrison, 4th generation driver. That runner-up position. Oh, we got somebody hit a tractor tire in turn 2. Caution as Austin Black spins in turn 2. Veteran trying to hold off the youngster in that second spot. Here comes Jimmy McGrath Jr. with a head of steam in the 5 junior. Drew Seifert now in the 4th and final transfer position. Cross flags in the air for John Ivy. Braden Harrison, Jimmy McGrath Jr., Drew Seifert, Brian Rosum, Madden Merrill. John Ivy pulling away down the backstretch. 2 laps remaining, heat race number 2. More time around for John Ivy. Braden Harrison, Jimmy McGrath Jr., Drew Seifert. Ivy through turns 3 and 4. He will take the Terry Henry's Ford of Archibald heat race win. Second going to go to Braden Harrison. Third, Jimmy McGrath Jr. Final transfer to Drew Seifert, to the Bees. Brian Raza, Madden Merrill, Austin Black, and Zach Kramer. Turn 4, side by side into turns 1 and 2. Bradley Bateson down the inside, J.J. Hennis to the outside. They are still side by side. Hennis with a slight advantage into turns 3 and 4. J.J. Hennis leads lap number 1 over Bradley Bateson, Brian Sabito, and Jamie Miller. The top 4. down the front stretch. J.J. Hennis, Bradley Bates, and Brian Sabito. Takes a peek to the inside of Sabito for that third spot in turns 1 and 2. Now Sabito to the rear bumper of Bradley Bateson at the cross flags. As J.J. Hennis has a 1.2 second lead. Here comes Sabito the inside of Bateson. He'll take the runner-up position. That's for a redraw. J.J. Hennis, a multi-time champion on the asphalt with the Must See Racing Series. Out front of this one, Brian Sabito in that second spot. Bradley Bates in third. Jamie Miller the final transfer position, but Casey Ziebelt starting to reel him in the X15, as is Dustin Dinan in the sixth. Last lap though, down the backstretch one final time through turns 3 and 4. Taking the heat race swing, going to be J.J. Hennis. Brian Sabito comes home second. Third, Bradley Bateson in the final transfer to Jamie Miller to the B. Casey Ziebelt, Dustin Dinan, Randy Rubel, and Cale Maurer. Green out the final heat race for the 305 sprint cars. Goes green. Logan Monjou grabs the lead, but he's got Steve Watts racing to his outside. Almost contact. Here comes Seth Schneider down the bottom of the racetrack in the 36. He'll take the second spot. Schneider not done. Takes a peek to the inside of Logan Monjou for the lead out of turn 2. Trevor St. Clair, that final transfer spot. David Hoppus and Bryce Sleek right on his rear bumper. For the lead, Seth Schneider grabs it down the front stretch. Monjou back to second. Steve Watts in third. Trevor St. Clair still in the final transfer position. Big lead out of turn number 4 for Seth Schneider. Logan Monjou still comfortably in third. Steve Watts, in second. Steve Watts in third. Trevor St. Clair, his second year of racing. In that final transfer position. Through turns 3 and 4, one final time. Taking the heat race wing, going to be Seth Schneider. Logan Monjou second, third, Steve Watts, final transfer spot. Green out for the first of 4 heat races for the UMP Lake Models. Kyle Moore grabs the lead out of turn 2. Greg Haskell into the second spot. Mike Morris third. Scott Boyd Jr. in that 4th and final transfer spot. He's got company from Austin Gibson in the 11 and Dominic De Niro in the 22. Big push on the 22. He loses valuable real estate out of turn 2. Kyle Moore pulling away now from Mike Boris in that second spot. Greg Haskell in third. And Scott Boyd Jr., the 4th and final transfer position. Austin Gibson, Dominic De Niro, Kyle Eckert complete the field. 1.5 second lead for Kyle Moore. Checkered flag falls for Kyle Moore. Mike Boris in second, Greg Haskell third, Scott Boyd Jr. in that fourth and final transfer spot. Dylan Jensen out of Berkeley, Ohio, the 53X, and on the tail, out of Toledo, Ohio, the 13 Mag Ringer. Green out for heat race number 2. Oh, heavy contact in turns 1 and 2, but everybody keeps rolling. Rusty Schlenk out front of this one. Rusty with a win on March 21st at Blackwater Speedway. Oh! Tangle in turns 3 and 4. That will bring out the Ollie Spargan up with a Norwalk yellow flag. Ryan Missler in that second spot. Kent Brewer now third. Dylan Jensen in the fourth and final transfer position. Brock Pinker is going to get docked 2 positions for jumping on that start. Cross flags in the air, halfway home. Then all Rusty Schlenk over Ryan Missler into the third spot, Brock Pinkerus, but he will be moved back 2 spots at the first caution or the end of the race for jumping that last restart. Kent Brewer in the 4th spot. Dylan Jensen in 5th. There's the white flag. Checkered flag falls for Rusty Schlenk. Ryan Missler in 2nd. 3rd going to be scored to Kent Brewer. The 4th to Dylan Jensen. 5th will go to the 5:55 of Brock Pinkerus for jumping on that last restart. He'll go to the B. Devin Shields flies out front of this one. And at number 51. A 5-time Attica Raceway Park Track champion, a 6-time Oakshade track champion. Devin Shields flies out front. Mike Vandermark Jr. in the second spot. Todd Brennan up to the third position. Tim Sable battling with Flying Ryan Markham for the final transfer spot. Cross flags in the air halfway home. White flag in the air out of turn 4 for Devin Shields. Mike Vandermark, Todd Brennan, Tim Sable, your top 4. Blistering pace so for the top 3 as they're already out of turn 4 and the 4th place cars exiting turn 2. Checkered flag falls for Devin Shields. Mike Vandermark Jr. in 2nd. Todd Brennan 3rd. Tim Sable the final transfer spot. Colin Shipley leading the charge of J.R. Gentry. Eric Spangler, Braden Shields, the top 4 pulled away from Cameron Tusing and Brett Jocks. Tusing looks like he's going to go pit side, so we have 5 cars remaining on the speedway. Shipley with a tick over a second lead over J.R. Gentry, Eric Spangler, and Braden Shields. Flag in the air for Colin Shipley. Races now for 2nd. Eric Spangler has caught J.R. Gentry. Races to his inside. They go door to door exiting turn 2. Retired Midwest B-Main number 1. Nate Dussel to the outside, off the track, on the track, still side by side with Zeth Sable for the lead. Nate Dussel, Zeth Sable behind them, Creek Kemenall, Travis Philo, DJ Foose battling it out for that 3rd spot. Nate Dussel now in command. Sabo back to 2nd. Creek Kemenall, DJ Foose side by side for that final transfer spot. Keep an eye on the 14 of Zane DeVault on the move. There's the cross flags in the air for Nate Dussel, Zeth Sabo, Creed Kimenol, DJ Foose, Zane DeVault. Nate Dussel flies to the white flag. Creed Kimenol on that third and final transfer spot. Checker flag out of turn 4 for Nate Dussel. Zeth Sabo second, Creed Kimenol third. They go to the A. DJ Foose putting the ball off the high side of 1 and 2. Jacobs, Van Gurley Jr. on the loud pedal, green out. Jacobs with the command out of turn 2. Early in the second spot. Now he takes the lead. Van Gurley Jr. Here comes the 21 of Larry Kingseed Jr. into the third spot. Trey Jacobs fights back, regains the lead down the backstretch. Trey Jacobs, Van Gurley Jr., Larry Kingseed, DJ Christie in the 4 spot, side by side for the lead in the 3 and 4. Van Gurley, Trey Jacobs, duking it out for the top spot here in this final B main. Gurley slips up the banking, opens the door to Trey Jacobs. Here comes Larry Kingseed. Gurley Jr. out front of this one. Trey Jacobs in the second spot. Larry Kingseed Jr. third. Fourth to DJ Christie. Fifth to John Jerich. Gage Garcia in that 6th spot. Dan McCarron, Mike Keegan, Gage Egan round out the field. Trey Jacobs staying within striking distance of Van Gurley Jr. Going to take a peek to his inside as they race to the white flag. Van Gurley Jr. out of turn number 4 will take the B main win. Trey Jacobs in second, Larry Kingseed Jr. in that 3rd spot. Green out for the only B main for the Fremont Fencing Guardrail 305 sprint cars. Paul Weaver grabs the lead out of turn 2. Casey Zebold in second. Lee Summers, Dustin Dynam battling for the 3rd spot. 5th to Bryce Sleek and 6th to Brandon Merrill. Pair of rookies battling for that final transfer spot. Problems in turns 1 and 2. Paul Weaver pulls away out front of this one. The race is for second. Here comes Double E Dustin Dynam on the outside of Casey Zebold. They go wing to wing in 3 and 4. Randy Rubo around Bryce Sleek for that final transfer spot. Great battle though for second. Casey Siebold to the inside, Dustin Dinan to the outside. They are still wing to wing at 3 and 4 and down the front stretch. Rubel now into the 5th spot. Moves Madden Merrill back to the final transfer position. Cross flags in the air. 5 and 5 to go. It's been all Paul Weaver. Now Dustin Dinan comfortably in second. Casey Siebold in third. Lee Summers in fourth. Randy Rubel fifth. Madden Merrill the final transfer spot. One and a half second lead for Paul Weaver. Laps winding down in this B main. Dustin Dinan took a 1/10 of a second off that lead that time by. But the white flag is in the air out of turn 4 for Paul Weaver. Oh, upside down in turn 2. Red, red, red. Single file past that Truck Works of Ohio restart cone. Paul Weaver leads the charge into turns 1 and 2 as they're going to race to the white flag. Here comes Dustin Dinan with a peek down to his inside. There's the white flag one more time around. Paul Weaver, Dustin Dinan, Casey Siebold, Randy Rubel. Problems for the 26. Checkered flag falls for Paul Weaver. Dustin Dinan, Casey Siebold. Randy Rubel, Austin Black last lap charge into the 5th spot and making his way into the feature, finishing 6th will be Madden Merrill. Turn number 4, green out. Final B main of the evening. Brock Pinkrist grabs the lead down the backstretch. Flying Ryan Markham into the 2nd spot. Austin Gibson 3rd. Dominic De Niro in that 4th and final transfer position. Now he looks for 3rd down the front stretch. Brock Pinkrist out of New York, out front of this one. Ryan Markham in 2nd, Dominic De Niro in 3rd, now up to 4th, the 17 of Tyler Evans. Over a 3-second lead for Brock Pinkrist. Pinkrist trying to get around 2 lap cars. He clears them. Clear track ahead. His lead nearly 5 seconds out of turn 4. For Ryan Markham. Tyler Evans now up to 3rd. Dominic De Niro back to 4th. Moving up to the 5th spot, Justin Chance. flag in the air for the 5:55 of Brock Pinkerus. His lead almost 7 seconds. He is already through turns 3 and 4 while the second place car exits turn 2. Checkered flag for Brock Pinkerus. Ryan Markham will come home second. Tyler Evans in third. Dominic De Niro fourth. And the final transfer car, Dominic De Niro. Everybody get up on your feet, the wave lap for the fire-breathing 410 sprints. As they come down the front stretch, wave your hats, wave your hands, wave your handkerchiefs, wave your flags, make some noise. What do you say, Attica Raceway Park? Lights out on the speedway. Bauman Auto Group pace truck to the infield. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages here at Attica Raceway Park, it's time to get dirty for 30. Brandon Spithaler grabs the lead out of turn 2. Cale Thomas and the 45 of Keith Shepard Jr. battling for that second spot. In the books, Brandon Spithaler leads Cale Thomas, Keith Shepard Jr., Craig Mintz, and Bryce Lucius, your top 5. Battle is for third. Shepard and Lucius battling it out. Lucius down to the inside. He'll go side by side and for the lead. We got a caution. Caution in turn number 2. Ollie's Parking Outlet of Norwalk yellow flag is displayed. I believe that is the 7M of Brandon Moore. No, who is 70 of Henry Melkett. Thank you. Here we go. Green back out. Single file past that restart cone. Cale Thomas glued to the rear bumper of Brandon Spithaler. He's going to take a look to his outside. Tries a diamond off the corner. Upside down in turns 3 and 4. Out. Green out. And Brandon Spithaler goes right down to the bottom of the racetrack in 1 and 2. To the middle of the racetrack comes Cale Thomas, big head of steam out of turn 2. 3-car battle for the third spot. Keith Shepard, Bryce Lucius, and Darren Nida. For the lead out of turn 4. Brandon Spithaler holds off Cale Thomas, and now Bryce Lucius is going to get in on the fun. Cale Thomas to the inside of Spithaler. Slide job in 3 and 4. New leader. Caleb Henry moves into the top 5 as well. 7 laps in this time by for your leader, Cale Thomas. Brandon Spithaler in second, Bryce Lucius third, fourth, Darren Nida, and fifth, Caleb Henry. Here comes Lucius, the inside of Spithaler for second. Oh, Bryce Lucius gonna spin in turns 1 and 2. Kept it rolling, but he loses 4 or 5 spots. Cale Thomas out front. Brandon Spithaler in second. Now Darren Nida going to challenge him for that runner-up position. Side by side for second. Oh, they almost touch. The lead for Cale Thomas, 1.5 seconds. Cale Thomas has caught the back of the pack with 12 laps in. Heavy lap traffic ahead for your leader. Bryce Lucius rallies back into the top 5 and a backstretch. Great restart for Cale Thomas. Battle resumes for second. Brandon Spithaler, Darren Nida. Cap Henry with a head of steam on the high side of the racetrack, picking up spots. Oh, on the front stretch, hard, upside down. Caleb Henry and another car got together, and Caleb Henry taking a nasty spill here on the front stretch. Single file past the Truck Works of Ohio restart cone. Cale Thomas right down the bottom of the racetrack. Brandon Spithaler slides up, opens the door for Darren Nida. Nida down to the inside of Spithaler for the second spot. Cross flags go in the air, halfway home for Cale Thomas. Darren Nida into third now. Bryce Lucius fights back. Spithaler back to fourth. Jordan Ryan, Parker Price Miller battling for the fifth spot. Bryce Lucius now takes the third position for Brandon Spithaler. Here comes Jordan Ryan to the inside of Spithaler. Lap 17 in the books. Cale Thomas's lead a tick under a 1 second. He will catch the back of the pack here in another 2 or 3 laps. Top 2 have pulled away from the good battle for third, Bryce Lucius and Jordan Ryan. Lead 1.1 seconds for Cale Thomas. Car on the high side of turn 4 to bring out the caution. Caution's falling right for Cale Thomas, keeping him out of lap traffic. Past the Truck Works of Ohio restart cone, green back out. Bryce Lucius, big head of steam. The outside of Darren Nida. 10 to go. Here comes Darren Nida challenging for the lead. Parker Price Miller into the 4th spot, rim riding in that 71. Wide for second out of turn 4. Parker Price Miller into the 2nd spot. Watch the green and black 71 of Parker Price Miller. Using the very extreme high side of Attica Raceway Park. The lead, 0.8 of a second. 5 flanges go in the air, 5 laps to go, and here comes the law firm. Lost some valuable real estate there in turn 2. He had taken 0.2 of a second off the lead. 4 laps to go. Lap traffic ahead. The lead 1.4 seconds now for Cale Thomas. Got to negotiate the lap traffic with 2 to go. The white flag in the air for Cale Thomas out of turn 4. His lead 1.7 seconds. Down the backstretch one final time. Cale Thomas going to take the checkered flag at Attica Raceway Park. Partner Bryce Miller will come home second. Third, Bryce Lucius. Fourth, Dan Nida. And fifth to Jordan Ryan. That Rudzik Excavating number 49X. The team was the champions of the All-Star last year, the team owners. You know, one of them nights where the yellow flags helped you a ton, kept you out of lap traffic until 2 to go.
Yeah, it was tricky tonight. I got the lead, and I wasn't, like usually when you take the lead here, you kind of know what's going on, and I took the lead, and I'm like, oh my God, like what do I do? Like the top seemed like it could be good if someone was good, and my car kind of went anywhere, but I felt like kind of the lines I was running the whole race there with the lead were good, and then when I got the lap traffic there, luckily they were all just bottom feeding, and I could just kind of float the middle, so I don't know, how close were they?
Well, Parker Price Miller closed there with about 3 or 4 laps running up top, but then he kind of bobbled in turn 2 and you got away and built like a 1.5-second lead again.
Okay, yeah. It's so tough to win these races, and this race is honestly like an all-star race, really. So just huge competition from AFCS all the way to, we got rained out this weekend tomorrow. So cool to see all the all-star teams out here, and everyone's just trying to get better. So definitely a good night for us, and one we definitely needed for sure.
Cale Thomas gets it done for the 7th time in his career at Attica Raceway Park. Make some noise, Attica Raceway Park! Lights out on the speedway. Bauman Auto Group pace truck to the infield. Race fans here at Attica Raceway Park, it's time to jump and jive for 25. Ryan Missler down the bottom of the racetrack. Mike Vandermark Jr. to the outside. They go door to door for the lead in the 3 and 4. Vandermark by a nose that time to lead the opening lap. Missler and Vandermark still side by side. In the 3rd spot, Todd Brennan. 4th, Colin Shipley. And Greg Haskell, your top 5. Good battle for 5th with J.R. Gentry. We got the late model upside down hard, Ryan Missler. Green back out. Mike Vandermark Jr. pulls away now from Todd Brennan. Colin Shipley into the 3rd spot. J.R. Gentry up to 4th. Good race for 4th. J.R. Gentry, Devin Shields, and Kyle Moore. Todd Brennan staying within striking distance of Vandermark. The lead, 0.8 of a second from Mike Vandermark Jr. over Todd Brennan. Colin Shipley comfortably in third, but what a race for fourth. J.R. Gentry, Devin Shields, Kyle Moore, Rusty Schlank. Nine laps go in the books this time by lap traffic. Now to complete lap 10. Leads still about 0.7 of a second, but he's in heavy lap traffic. Then Todd Brennan close. Devin Shields coming to life, takes a peek to the inside of Colin Shipley for that third spot. Vandermark picking his way through the traffic, as is Todd Brennan. They got a little bit of a clean track now. "13 laps go in the books this time. It's been all Mike Vandermark Jr. Laps to go this time across the stripe for Mike Vandermark Jr. Todd Brennan within 2 car lengths of him down the backstretch in the heavy traffic. Vandermark having problems with the 51 lap car. That allows Todd Brennan to close to the rear deck lid. Brennan right to the rear tires of your leader with 8 laps to go. Vandermark with lap cars racing side by side right in front of your lead duo. Six laps to go. Single file past the Truck Works Ohio restart zone. Vandermark drops the hammer, pulls away. Here comes Devin Shields the inside of Todd Brennan for that runner-up spot. Kyle Moore up on the cushion as well. 5 flanges going here, 5 to go. Devin Shields down to the inside. Brennan up top. That allows your leader to pull away. Colin Shipley, Kyle Moore, Rusty Schlank, Mike Boris. Great battle for that 4th spot. Throw a blanket on the top 3 with 2 laps to go. Here comes Todd Brennan. It's time to go. He puts the whip to the 20, pulls to the rear deck lid of Vandermark, takes a peek to his inside as they race to the white flag. Vandermark gets away from him in 1 and 2. Down the backstretch, one final time, yellow, yellow, yellow. Vandermark, Brennan, Shields, Shipley, Moore, your top 5. Hammer drop, green out, great restart for Mike Vandermark. Hits his marks perfectly and turns 1 and 2. Down the backstretch one final time. For the first time in his career, Mark Vandermark Jr. is a winner at Attica Raceway Park. Climbing out of the car, the first time on the horse track here at Attica Raceway Park, Mark Vandermark Jr. That certainly makes the tow to Attica a lot nicer, doesn't it?
Yeah, we usually suck here, so can't believe it. I just got to thank a lot of people. I definitely got to thank my car owner, Nick Weed, Performance Engineering, North American Diesel Parts, VG Performance, Iron Horse by Gary, Outlaw Suspension Technologies, Tire Guy Derek. Kip's been a big help to me this year, just at my house about every day, working on stuff. Couldn't do it without him. Thank Mike, Jordan, Gary that came down with us, and good night.
Great night for him. First time on the horse track at Attica. What do you say for Mike Vandermark? The final time this evening. Get up on your feet, send them off with a warm welcome, and thank you for their entertainment tonight. Wave your hats, make some noise for the 305 Sprints as they come down the front stretch. What do you say, Attica Raceway Park? Bombing Auto Group pace truck the infield. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time to jump and jive for 25. Here we go. See if the second time's a charm. Out of turn 4. Green comes out. Cars have to be side by side at that orange tire in turn 4. Green out. Steve Randall, Logan Monjou lead them into turns 1 and 2. Going to lead lap number 1 over Seth Schneider and Logan Monjou. J.J. Henderson, Brian Sabino. Rando continues to lead Seth Schneider. The race is for third now. J.J. Hennis around Logan Monjou. Steve Rando's lead, 1 second over Seth Schneider. The race is for third though. J.J. Hennis, Logan Monjou still side by side. John Ivy around Brian Sabito now into the top 5. Lap traffic ahead for Steve Rando, Seth Schneider, Logan Monjou, and J.J. Hennis. Laps in, this time by for Steve Rando. Seth Schneider getting a challenge now from Logan Monjou for that runner-up spot. John Ivy coming to life too as he closes in on J.J. Hennis for the 4th position. And 13 to go for Steve Rando. His lead, 2.2 seconds. Seth Schneider, Logan Monjou, J.J. Hennis, John Ivy throw a blanket on that battle for the 2nd spot. Move John Ivy up to 4th. Almost 2 seconds now for Steve Rando. 10 laps to go. Rando in heavy lap traffic. But his lead has grown to 2.4 seconds. What a race for that 3rd spot. Logan Monjou, J.J. Hennis, and John Ivy. 5 flanges go in the air, though, for Steve Rando. Seth Schneider in the 36 car is 2nd. Logan Monjou in the 3M is 3rd. The 36 junior of J.J. Hennis is 4th, and John Ivy in the 49I, your top 5. 4 laps to go. Over 3 seconds now. Steve Rando, a little bit of clear track. 2 laps remaining for the driver out of Lindsay, Ohio. see the doctor's jacket in the air out of turn 4 one more time around for Steve Rando. Rando through turns 3 and 4. Steve Rando, his first win of the season here at Attica Raceway Park. Seth Schneider will come home second, third Logan Monjou, fourth John Ivey, and fifth J.J. Hennis.
That was weak, but all right.
That was a pretty quick race, actually. And once you got out front, this thing was a rocket ship. You just kept building on that lead.
Yeah, I couldn't see behind me at all. I started out front, and I just tried to maintain it and stay there. I kept getting into lap traffic, and tried to pass them as quick as I could, and it seemed to work out for me. So
Put the wing in the trunk, and away you went.
it took a while to get there. Actually, the car was damn good. So that was a good thing. That helped a lot.
There you go, his 7th career win at Attica Raceway Park for Steve Rando. That'll do it for us this week.